Greetings, boys and girls. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing whole numbers. Whoop, whoop. You guys ready? Let's get to it. Okay, in the first section, we're simply comparing numbers. Now, when I get ready to compare numbers, I always want to line them up so I can easily see my place values. So I'm going to put 3,128 on top, and underneath it, I'm going to write 3,114. Notice I lined up my place values. My ones are lined up, my tens are lined up, my hundreds are lined up, and my thousands are lined up. Once I have all of my place values lined up, I want to start at my largest place value. And that happens to be my thousands place. I look at my digits in the thousands place, and they're all the same. So now I come to the next largest place value, which is the hundreds place. And I look, I have a 1 on top of a 1. Those are still the same. So now I'm going to go to the next largest place value, which is the tens. And now I have a 2 and a 1. Okay, they're not the same. And I'm looking, the 2 is greater than the 1, so therefore 3,128 is going to be greater than 3,114. So right inside, I am going to put a greater than symbol. All right, I want you to try the next one on your own. Make sure you line up your place values so you can see which one is largest. Feel free to pause this video if I do not give you enough time to solve. Okay, I'm going to go to the next problem. In section B, we're now rounding numbers to the circled place value. So when I round, I'm going to rewrite the number just so it's a little bit larger. I have 3,876,153, and the 7 is rounded. When I round a number, I'm going to round it so that everything to the right of it turns into a 0. Okay, I'm looking at a simpler form of this number. All right, so my 7 is circled. I'm going to underline the 6. Now I look at this 6. If this 6 is between 0 and 4, then my 7 will stay the same. However, if this 6 is between 5 and 9, I'm going to add one more to the number that I have circled. Well, look, 6 is between 5 and 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to add 1 to this circle, and this circle is going to now become an 8. Again, remember when I told you when we round numbers, everything to the right is going to change into a 0. Okay? And then everything to the left of my circle gets to stay the same. So my new number is 3,880,000. All right, I want you all to do the next one all by yourselves. Know that I wasn't trying to trick you on that one. If you still need some more time, go ahead and press pause on the video. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next problem. All right, in section C, we're actually putting numbers in order from greatest to least. I really need to pay attention to this, greatest to least. And I like to write G to L because that just reminds myself, oh yeah, my smallest number is going to go last. I'm looking and I have 10,881, 7,151, 101,971, 37,418, and finally 784. Well, just looking at these numbers, I have a 5-digit number, a 4-digit number, a 6-digit number, a 5-digit number, and a 3-digit number. And all of these are whole numbers. That means there's no decimals. So I already know the number with the fewest number of digits is going to be my least number because it only goes to the hundreds place. So I'm going to put 784 as my smallest number. And just from saying these numbers, I knew that my 6-digit number, 101,971, was my largest number because this was the only number that had a digit in the hundred thousands place. So that's going to be greatest, 101,971. Okay, now I'm going to figure out the numbers that will go next. Ooh, I'm crossing out that one because I already used it. Now I have a 5-digit number, a 4-digit number, and another 5-digit number. And guess what? My 4-digit number has the next fewest number of digits. So I'm going to put 7,151 here because it has fewer places. It only goes to the thousands place. And my last two numbers go to the 10,000s place. Okay, now I have 10,881 and 37,418. I'm going to start with my largest place value once I've lined my numbers up. The largest place value I see is the 10,000s place. I have a 1 in the 10,000s place and then a 3 in the 10,000s place. This 3 is definitely larger. So 37,418 would be greater than 10,881. Therefore, I'm going to put 37,418 second, followed by 10,881. And now, friends, I have all of my numbers in order from greatest to least. And thankfully, I was able to use place value to do this. Let's move on to the next problem. In section D, I'm asked to write numbers in expanded notation. Expanded notation. Remember, friends, that's when we write numbers like 2 times 1,000 plus 3 times 100 plus 4 times 10 plus 5 times 1. This is the expanded notation. Okay, it's very similar to expanded form, and in this case, we're just going to be multiplying it by a power of 10. All right, now that we got that refresher, let's look at this first number. We're writing 6,394 in expanded notation. So I'm looking at the 6, and I can tell that's in the thousands place. So I'm going to write 6 times 1,000. I'm going to add that to a 3, which is in the hundreds place. So I'll multiply it by 100. I'm going to add that to a 9, which is in the tens place. So I'll multiply 9 times 10. And finally, I'm going to add that to a 4, which is in the ones place. And I can put parentheses around each of the digits. Okay, so I can put parentheses around these. I don't have to. I just like to put them around because it makes it easier to see the digits. So I have a 6, and then a 3, and then a 9, and finally a 4. The next one we have, they actually did not give us the number in expanded notation. Sorry, they didn't give it to us in standard form. But we still have to put the number in expanded notation. And they started us with word form. So I want to go ahead and make sure I write this word form in standard form. And then from there, it's easier to write it in expanded notation. So my number is 503,000. So I'm going to first write the first part of that, which is 503. And because it says 1,000, I can put my comma right after that. And then it says 27. Now, I know I can't just write a 2 and a 7. Because I have thousands, I have to put a 0 to represent no hundreds. Then I can write 27. Okay? So I want you to take that number and write it in expanded notation. All right. Hopefully you got something like what I have right here. Notice I didn't put anything for the zeros. I don't need to represent the zeros at all. If you need to still get caught up, press pause on the video. Otherwise, we're going to move to section E. Now we are doing addition. Now, you guys have been adding for years, okay? It's just that our numbers get bigger as we move to the higher grade levels. Whenever I get ready to add numbers, I want to make sure that I stack my numbers up, and I definitely want to line up my place values. I want my ones to be lined up with ones, my tens to be lined up with tens, my hundreds to be lined up with hundreds, my thousands to be lined up with thousands, and my 10,000s to be lined up with 10,000s. It really doesn't matter when I add if my larger number is on top or on bottom. I think a lot of times for us, we just prefer for the larger number to be on top. So I'll put my larger number on top in this problem as well. So I have 21,378, and I'm adding that to 4,378. Okay, now I'm going to start on the right, and I'm going to add up my 8s. So 8 plus 8 would be 16. I'd carry my 1. 1 plus 7 would be 8. Plus 7 would be 15. I'm going to regroup, carry my 1. Now I have 1 plus 3, which equals 4, and I'm going to add that to 3, which is 7. Okay, moving along, 1 plus 4 would be 5, and then 2 plus nothing would be 2. And I'll put my comma right in between the 5 and the 7 to separate the thousands place from the hundreds place. All right, I want you all to do the next one on your own. If you still need time, go ahead and press pause on the video. Otherwise, we're moving on to the next section, which is F. Now we're subtracting numbers. Okay, now these numbers I've already stacked up for you in the interest of time. Okay, and I'm starting with the first problem. I have 4,891, and I want to subtract 287. Oh, I do want to note, it does matter when we subtract which number's on top. We need our larger number to be on top when we do this kind of subtracting. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the ones place. I have 1, and I need to take 7 away. But I can't do that, so I come next door to the 9. I'm going to take 1 away from the 9, and that will become 8. Remember, 9 is really 90, and when I take 1 away from that, I'm really taking 10 whole away. I'm taking 10 away so that I can add the 10 right to this 1. So now instead of 1, I have 10 plus 1, which is 11. Now I can say 11 minus 7 is 4. 8 minus 8 is 0. 8 minus 2 is 6, and 4 minus nothing would be 4. I love checking my work too. Whenever I check my subtraction, I would simply add my answer to the number I subtracted away, and I should get the number I started with, which is 4,891. Let me confirm. 4 plus 7 is 11, carry my 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus nothing is 4. And I did get the same thing, so I feel good about my answer. I'm going to let you do, let's do this next one together. And then I'll let you do 40,000 on your own. Okay, now this is when it's really important to make sure we go step by step, okay, with our subtracting. I'm subtracting 24,002 minus 6,810. 2 minus 0 is 2. Now I want to subtract 0 minus 1, but I can't do that. So I come next door and there's a 0. Wow, can't work with that either. So I'm going to look at this whole amount of 40. And I'm going to take 1 away from the 40, which would make 39. I did that so that this first 0 can become a 10. Now I can say 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. 3 minus 6, not able to do that. I'll come and regroup, make that 2 a 1 so that the 3 can be 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. And finally, 1 minus nothing is 1. Now I want to check my answer. Okay, I want to check it so I can make sure I got the correct answer. So I'm taking 17,192 and I'm going to add it to 6,810. Okay, I want to get 24,002 as my answer. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 1 is 10, carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is another 10, carry my 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And look at that. I got 24,002. So always check your answers because we can make so many mistakes with subtraction. All right. I would like you to solve the next one. So go ahead and press pause on the video. Now we're going to look at some multiplication practice. There are several strategies you can use for multiplication. Some people like the old school method, some like the lattice method, some like partial products. Today I want to review with the lattice method. I'm multiplying a 3-digit number times a 2-digit number. So I'm going to make my grid. When I use lattice method, I do not use expanded form. So I'm simply going to write across the top 384, and on the side I write 16. Okay? 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, now I'm going to add all of my diagonals. The first diagonal is simply 4. Second diagonal, I have a 4 plus 2 plus 8. That would be 14. I'm going to carry my 1. In the next diagonal, I have 8 plus 4 plus 8. Well, that's already 20. Plus the 1 would be 21. Carry my 2. In the next diagonal, I have 2 plus 3 plus 1, which would be 6. And then I have 0 in the last diagonal. Now I can read my answer right here, which would be 6,144. If I want to check the reasonableness of my answer, I can simply do an estimate. 384 is almost 400. 16 is almost 20, if I rounded it. So I'd be looking at 400 times 20, which would be 8 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. So it'd be about 8,000, okay? I knew that my actual answer was going to be less than 8,000 because I rounded up to get, I rounded 384 up and I rounded the 16 up. Okay? All right. I want you to try the next one on your own. You can use whichever strategy works best for you. And you can press pause on this video. All right. Our last problem is division. We have talked about several strategies for dividing numbers with by a two-digit divisor. Today we're going to use the old school approach. So for some people, they like to list their multiples. I'm dividing by 25, so I'm pretty good with 25s, okay? So the first thing, I know that I have a two-digit divisor, so it's not going to go into a one-digit number. Okay, so 25, I'm not even going to be seeing how many times is 25 going to 7. But I'm going to be thinking about 78. Okay, so let's think about our multiples of 25. 25, 50, 75. Okay, so we know that 25 can go into 78 at least 3 times. The next 25 would be 100, so it's just going to be 3 times. Underneath 78, I'm going to actually write the multiple. Okay, 25 times 3 is 75. Now I would subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 minus 7 is nothing. And then I bring down my 9. Now I'm going to ask myself again, how many times does 25 go into what I have left, which is 39? Okay, I can look at my multiples. Well, it does go in at least once. Can it go in twice? Nope, that's too big. So it goes in just one time. And we're going to put our multiple of 25 right underneath. Now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 5 would be 4. 3 minus 2 would be 1. What do I do with this 14? Well, it becomes my remainder. So I have 31 with a remainder of 14. All right. I hope this was a review for you all and wasn't anything too brand new. Tomorrow, stay tuned because we are going to be reviewing with decimals. I hope you're ready. Take care.